It's my pleasure to introduce Ryan, who is both a good friend and a colleague. He comes from Older Adult Technology Services Senior Planet, which is an affiliate of AARP. Prior to joining OATS, Ryan was the executive director of UI a Japanese American Senior Center in San Jose, California, and he was the chair of the Aging Services Collaborative of Santa Clara County. Ryan has an undergraduate degree in political science and visual arts from UC San Diego and has a master's degree in public affairs from Princeton University. Welcome, Ryan. Good to see you.
Thanks so much, Sophie. And just welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the session today. It's a real honor to be here. Again, I'm Ryan Kawamoto. I'm the regional program manager for Older Adult Technology Services, where we operate Senior Planet sites around the country. And I'm going to now share my screen to jump right into our presentation. So thanks again for joining me today. As I will walk through all of our programming, I want to mention up front that all of our programming is free and really meant to be as accessible as possible. And we provide comprehensive support in a holistic way. So we're really hoping to provide support no matter what your user level is. And so on that note, I thought I'd actually start off this presentation with a quick video of one of our participants talking about what our programming has meant for her.
I'm a retired teacher. I taught school for some total of 34 years, and primarily I taught math. I could go online and check my email, or if I wanted to look up something, I would Google it. But in my personal life, for spending any of my time, I really didn't consider tech to be something that I wanted to spend it on. Senior Planet gave me the key to the door. Literally, it showed me the value of an internet connection, the value of creating a community and creating activities for yourself online. Because I was learning something, I was doing something. It's like I mattered. It's not just checking your email, checking the news, and checking Facebook. There's more to the computer, and there's more to the online community than that. I don't think I could have made it through the pandemic healthy and mentally, physically sound without Senior Planet.
And so, Jolene, that's said it better than I could ever, but we're really hoping, and I'm hoping through this presentation, we can open up a world to all of our programming that is really focused on different impact areas that I'll dig into soon. So on that note, just some quick background about Older Adult Technology Services. We were founded in 2004 by Tom Camber out in New York, where we created a flagship exploration center in Manhattan, so right in the heart of the city, which was really meant to be a space for older adults to come in and learn about technology. And since then, we've grown to multiple partner sites, not only in New York, but around the country. We've received quite a few grants, most recently $3 million from the Humana Foundation to connect older adults digitally. And in 2021, we had that exciting opportunity to become a charitable affiliate of AARP. And I just have to say, it's been a dream come true for me to be an AARP employee, where we have the support and backing of the largest membership organization in the country, but then also we've been able to keep our own autonomy in rolling out programming that's very specific and follows our mission that we had founded, back in 2004. And so this is just a chart to show that in 2021, OATS and AARP became, in some ways, one entity that now we are, focused specifically on delivering older adult technology programming for AARP. On that note, this is a picture of Tom Camber on my left-hand side, where he is a thought leader in the field of, sometimes I've heard him be referred to as a rock star. And really, he just comes from a place of wanting to help as many people as possible. And that his first experience in thinking through this model was actually working with an older adult that needed to learn how to use technology. And he started with an individual attention with her and slowly came up with the idea of, wait, can we replicate this and can we scale to really provide a service that was being overlooked for a lot of older adults. So part of this is to say that as part of that funding that we received, we created an Aging Connected report where we use real data to figure out what is happening with the digital divide. And that's where we learned nearly 22 million older adults 42% of American older adults lack wireline broadband access at home. And this really has real world impacts. Medicaid enrollees are 2.7 times more likely to be offline. And Black and Latino older adults are more than 2.5 and 3.3 times more likely, respectively, to be offline. So this is where we're really hoping to bridge that divide to really provide our programming in a really fun, supportive, and welcoming environment. So on that note, how do we do that? So this is where we have 3 main channels for Senior Planet presence. And this will vary depending on geography and depending on where you are in the country. But in California, we most recently had a site in Palo Alto, but we have since evolved that site where now it's a licensing site, which I'll talk about licensing in a little bit, and have a call to action for all of you today to help us learn and identify older adult community centers that could or would be interested in rolling out digital literacy programming for free. But we do have centers. We have a center, again, as I mentioned, in New York. We have a center in a shopping mall in North Country, New York. We just are about to open up a site in Miami. We have a site in Denver, Colorado. And then we have a presence, meaning that we have a network of partner sites in Montgomery County and San Antonio, Texas. And I'm really excited to announce that we just received some dollars, both from the state and from the county, to roll out some partner sites in Santa Clara County. So if you're in the Bay Area, more to come on that, and we'll be updating our website with further announcements there. But part of our model is to have a main hub, so meaning that we have our site that is our center that's really focused on creating a fun, safe environment for older adults to learn technology. But we also partner with existing sites within those geographies. And then, of course, online. When we, just like everyone else during the pandemic, we were forced to shut down all of our sites. And within 3 weeks, we shifted all of our curriculum and programming to our virtual platform on our website, which I'll be going over in a little bit. So on that note, in terms of our programming, we have 5 main impact areas. Our first impact area is health and wellness, and that can range everything from, anything from our Tai Chi classes, our morning stretch class. I think our morning stretch class, I've been told it can be kind of a cult following, where we actually might have up to 700 participants each week now. And especially during the pandemic, when we're asked to shelter in place, these programs became even more important for our participants, and something that they became to rely on each week to be able to do some important exercises from the comfort of their home. But that also means for health and wellness that we have all sorts of Explore Tech lectures, meaning that we have hour-long sessions where we focus on specific topics, whether that be the MyChart app so that you're able to talk to your doctor, how to use Zoom so that you can do televisits with your doctor. We also have sessions on how to find legitimate, incredible resources online for prescription drugs to make sure that you're getting your prescription drugs at the lowest cost possible. In addition to some sessions on Internet of Things related to healthcare, related to wearables. For example, your Apple Watch can monitor your heart rate. So there are all sorts of sessions that are listed on our website, seniorplanet.org. And at the very end of our presentation, I'll have one slide that if there's anything that you take away from this presentation, it'll be that slide of all the resources and how to connect with us. The second impact area is social engagement, which is really exciting. We are actually doing a weekly session. We're currently on break, but we're hoping to start up again later this month, where we offer a Monday our Monday discussion group where we talk about tech and innovation. And that means any headline related to encryption, a data leak, cryptocurrency. We're taking those headlines and we're having an open space to talk about technology. That's every Monday at 12 noon. And it's been one of our most popular sessions. We also offer sessions on creative expression, meaning how to use Canva, which is a free online platform that's kind of like Photoshop that allows you to create anything from a flyer to a postcard to reformatting a picture. And we also do sessions on Google Photos. So understanding now that you've taken a picture, it's on your phone. What do you do next? How do you make sure you have access to that photo, or can you create an album for easy access, or being able to share those photos with families or loved ones or friends? We also offer sessions on financial security. We have a session on protecting your personal information online, where we walk through best practices on how to go online safely, how to remember passwords, what is a safe password, how to identify a scam or a fraudulent email. In fact, we have a real email that we walk through that gives you some red flags like typos, or looking at the email address to see if it's coming from a legitimate source. And so we do walk through best practices during that session. But we also offer sessions on entrepreneurship, how to use eBay, how to use Etsy, and really how to use the best of the internet to provide financial security for yourself. We have another session too on Google Docs and how do you write a resume. So if you happen to be retired or you're currently working, but just want to enhance your skills, but you're looking for a second career, we walk through how to create a resume and then submit it. And so that again is through our Google Doc program. And then the final piece is final impact area is advocacy. So for example, a session could be on how to follow an elected official on Twitter and how to engage with that elected official. And we're a social impact model, meaning that we really care about social change. We really care about social justice. And so those sessions are really meant to help enhance skills related to advocacy. I mentioned our virtual programming and support, but I wanted to walk through all the different resources that we provide. Later, I have a slide where we actually list our toll-free national hotline. And for all California residents, that toll-free hotline is staffed Monday through Friday with a live staff member from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. The great thing to note too is that, because it's live staff, if you happen to not be able to talk to someone, please leave a voice message and they'll give you a call back. And currently that hotline is primarily in English, but sometimes we are offering support in Spanish. We also, as I mentioned, offer our Explore Tech lectures and our Explore Tech workshops. Those are an hour long, and all of those sessions you can access just by clicking on a Zoom link on our website, seniorplanet.org. And the main difference between an Explore Tech lecture and Explore Tech workshop is our Explore Tech lectures are really a presentation walking through what is Facebook, what is a Facebook feed. And then a workshop is much more hands-on, where sometimes we require registration because we want a smaller group, but it'll be how to create a Facebook account. And so a live trainer will be walking through and being able to answer any questions you might have in actually creating an account. Again, all of these sessions are listed on our website. I think we offer more than 40 different sessions a week. And again, everything is free and accessible via Zoom. I'm also really excited to announce that we have Verizon Tech Talks, and what those mean are we have a partnership, a national partnership with Verizon staff. Their tech staff are volunteers, where again, on our website, seniorplanet.org, you can register for a one-on-one tech coaching session. And we do ask that you put into the registration form the question or issue you might be facing. And it could be anything from, hey, I have Spotify that I want to listen to in my car, but don't know how to hook it up. Or I just got an iPad and I don't know where to even turn it on or how to start with it. And I don't know where the camera is, the microphone is. Can I, get some support in walking through that? And I'm really happy to announce too, that support is in Mandarin, Spanish, and English. And again, you can register on our website. If you have any difficulties registering, for any of our sessions or our virtual tech talks, I recommend please calling our national hotline, and they'll be able to help walk you through our website and our programming over the phone. And then, as I mentioned previously, discussion groups. Out in Colorado, we actually have a session called Lunch and Learn, where it's in the middle of the day and you can eat your lunch while talking with other people about a specific topic, whether that be related to iPad or any other technology topic. And then just wanting to mention that we are offering weekly sessions in Spanish, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. Again, we have 60 different Explore Tech lectures and workshops that walk through anything from what is cloud storage to how to subscribe to a podcast to, hey, I'm looking to purchase a smart TV. What do I need to know? What is streaming? And these are all translated into Spanish, Mandarin, and Vietnamese. And those are weekly sessions, again, that are on our website. Just one note, though, that for our Mandarin and Vietnamese sessions, we do require registration, and that's just to help make sure that you're supported in logging into the session. And this is another video that I wanted to share about one of our participants.
Now I learned how to do online banking. Senior Planet told me how to save money with the cable and everything. And, everybody's amazed because, like I said, 2019 was very hard for me because I lost 3 people, my mother, my husband, and a grandkid. I was very depressed. even though I was going through these grieving counseling, it was like Senior Planet. The people from the grieving was echoing what Senior Planet was saying to me. They were the ones that pushed me and opened up my world and gave me freedom. They showed me how to depend on myself. So now I was like a little bird in a cage that I had to go and wait for them to feed me. Now I fly. I'm an eagle. I can fly wherever I want. And it's like, it's amazing. You guys have opened my world and everything to a lot of stuff. Thank you.
And I tear up every time I watch that video, but I'm hoping to, through this presentation, we too can provide support for you to be an eagle as well. So on that note, I'll just really quickly go through our metrics that we have. In 2021, over 284,000 engagements. We offered 7,029 sessions. And that's just to say that we have a full-time team that is constantly updating our materials and programming to make sure it's most relevant and up to date, but that we really are focused on wanting to provide holistic support for you for free. Again, we really, we do follow a lot of metrics, meaning that we really are trying to remain relevant and state of the art. And so we're really proud that our Net Promoter Score is 96. For those that don't know, a Net Promoter Score is just a bunch of external factors that we're measuring to see the satisfaction of our participants. And I've been told that the average standard of a good organization can be sometimes 50 or 70 for a Net Promoter Score. So we're really proud of our Net Promoter Score of 96, but we closely monitor that number because if we ever see a dip, that means that we need to shift and we need to evolve in our programming. And so that's why we so closely monitor that. And that too is why if there's ever a session that you attend and you have any feedback for us, we provide an evaluation at the end of each of our sessions, because we really do want your feedback to make sure we are improving and doing the best that we can do. These are just some quick numbers related to our metrics too on our evaluation. We are constantly looking at, are you feeling more confident online? Are you feeling more equipped? Are you feeling less isolated? And are you feeling more connected? Are some of those main metrics that we're really focused on. And wanted to share another video now of another participant that was empowered through our programming.
I find technology intimidating still. Using computers was very frustrating and intimidating. I am a freelance writer, an ESL, and an English teacher, and I'm an extra on TV shows and movies. I have been published in Hell's Mall, which is an anthology of horror stories. In my career, I have to upload a lot of my work, and also using technology for Zoom to meet with people. Losing technology would be like living in a dark room, and it would be I have no access to friends, entertainment, money, travel. It would be like living on a farm without water. I would tell people to try Senior Planet, because if we have resources and feel empowered, we'll be encouraged to learn new things.
And what I appreciate about this video is it shows that there's programming for different skill levels, right? And so we really are intended for, if you're a brand new user to technology, of really trying to cultivate and support your confidence in using technology. But if you're a much more advanced user, we're hoping to offer sessions too on new platforms that you might not have heard of, but might be important on daily work or interactions with others. So this is where we are really hoping to help the helpers, meaning that each of you, if you've heard about our programming, might be able to let other people know about our programming. Or on that note, one thing that I'm really excited to announce is our licensing program. And what that means is, let's say if you're in California and you are aware of an older adult community center that you are visiting or love, but they may not have the digital literacy programming, we are actually providing all of our materials and support for free. It does require an application from the Older Adult Community Center to apply, and that's just because we want to make sure that center has the capabilities and bandwidth and staff to be able to successfully deliver our programming. And so we do require an application. On our website, seniorplanet.org, there is further information on how to apply, and we also offer informational sessions about our licensing program. But it just means that if you happen to know of an older adult community center, if you want to just mention Senior Planet, I have my contact information listed at the end of this presentation. I'd be more than happy to talk to them as well. But this has really been a way for us to provide support in an expedited way. On that note, I just wanted to mention that, as Sophie mentioned in my introduction, I'm a former executive director of an older adult community center. And one of the last initiatives I worked on was getting a grant of about $80,000. I had no idea what to do with those dollars. I didn't know if I should be buying iPads. I didn't know if I should be working on curriculum. And what I learned though, and I wish I had known about OATS or Senior Planet back then, because I feel like our comparative advantage at Older Adult Technology Services is having a full-time curriculum team, which means that if Apple, for example, updates their operating system overnight, we can then immediately update all of our materials and disseminate that information to an older adult community center. And what that means then is for that center, they are not needing staff to figure out how to update all their information quickly. And it really means that we're able to provide that support, especially if that older adult community center is under-resourced or doesn't have the resources to update their curriculum ongoing or the staff support. So what we do ask though is that the staff at each older adult community center be trained through our programming, which means that we just offer best practices on how to deliver programming. But I'll show a quick video that kind of highlights an experience of a partner site.
The need for tech training and support is only growing, and we realized the best way to reach communities all over America was to license our curriculum and support local entities to deliver our programs in their own neighborhoods.
Senior Planet did a lot of research, and we very much follow their curriculum, which is very nicely paced.
The local licensing partners are bringing magic to this, and we can't do it without them.
This is a whole new world, going at a slow pace, listening to the people's questions. The comfort zone is very, very good.
My hope is that they're going to use technology to improve their lives. Too much fun.
Aging with attitude and gratitude for not feeling left out from the digital culture.
And so again, this is where I call upon all of you. If you are active in your community or know of a older adult, it actually doesn't even need to be a community center. It could be a health clinic. It could be a library. But this is where we can work with them and again, provide all of our programming and support for free. On that note, just a few more resources. One is Senior Planet Community. This is where we've actually created a platform for our members to connect. And so you can see kind of in the graphic that we have the book lovers club, the pet lovers, and really it's intended that if you have a specific interest and are looking for like-minded individuals to talk about those interests, you can create an account on community.seniorplanet.org and find other older adult members that are part of the Senior Planet community. And this is really meant to prevent social isolation and help develop connections. It's actually really cool that even though we're doing a discussion group out of California, we recently had 2 participants that had never met each other from Maryland, where they discovered they're only a couple miles away, where through our programming, they got to know each other and they actually wound up meeting in person for the first time just a little while ago. And just wanting to mention the Affordable Connectivity Program. This is actually a federally run program where it actually provides low cost internet plans in addition to subsidized devices. And so the Affordable Connectivity Program, again, if you go to our website, you can also go to agingconnected.org, which is currently in existence, but will be shifting over to our Senior Planet website, where there's actually a search engine where you can type in your address to see what low-cost internet plans are in your area, and also if there are any subsidized costs or subsidized support for a device. And again, this is federal dollars run through a federal program, but we're just making sure that people are aware of this program. So if there's any slide, this is please the slide to remember. We have seniorplanet.org, which again has all of our programming. We also have an amazing team of writers that are writing articles specifically for older adults related to technology. And again, that is all on seniorplanet.org. And so please, after this presentation, visit the website. Of course, you can always call our hotline if you have any questions, but directly on our website at the very top in a banner, you'll see our national toll-free hotline. But right now, too, I'm kind of skipping around over here to the lower right. Our free tech hotline, toll-free hotline is 888-713-3495. And again, we are open Monday through Fridays with live staff to provide support for you. As I mentioned just previously too, agingconnected.org, you can type in your address to find low-cost internet plans or subsidies for devices in your area. And then the final piece is oats.org. So as I mentioned at the beginning, you have AARP as our umbrella organization. We have OATS, Older Adult Technology Services, as an affiliate. And then Older Adult Technology Services then provides support for all and operates all of our Senior Planet sites around the country. So at oats.org, you can see some of our data and reports that we've been developing related to the digital divide, in addition to our partnerships and a lot of reports and case studies talking about how we have successfully worked with partners. So this, of course, too, might be of interest to any licensed site, potential licensed site that you outreach to that might be interested to learn more about our model and our methodologies and delivery of programming. And just to end on some participant testimonials. My favorite is, what did you like the most about today's session? And someone put, I was at home in my pajamas learning new things. And especially during the pandemic, we found that this was incredibly important. But it also means too that as we start to roll out in-person programming in the Bay Area, it means that you can get that direct support. But if you're not in the Bay Area, you can always log into our virtual programmings and from the comfort of your home and even in pajamas, learn something new. So this is my contact information. Please do not hesitate to email me. If you have any questions related to our programming, related to our licensing model, this is where I'd be more happy to connect you with the appropriate staff. But again, I just want to thank you so much for attending today's session. And maybe Sophie and MJ, if it makes sense to open it up for questions. And I apologize, I haven't been able to read the chat, but if there's some questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those right now.
Thanks, Ryan. We had a question earlier about the term engagement. What does that mean to you?
Great, and I'll have to think through what the context, but social engagement might have been what I was referring to. And social engagement for us really means interacting with others, building community. And that's where, again, for our discussion groups, it's really meant to be a safe space to do critical thinking, to learn something new, and just really socially engage. In terms of how we define engagements for our own metrics, that's where we count, one participant logging into one of our sessions or attending one of our sessions in person as an engagement. But hopefully that answers the question, but please let me know. But, I recently in the last year met with Stanford School of Medicine. And they were interested in our programming because they were finding a lot of their older adult patients were having trouble logging into televisit sessions, but they're also finding a lot of their patients were socially isolated. So this is where, after learning about our programming, their doctors and faculty actually started to prescribe our programming to participants that were facing depression, some anxiety, especially related to the shelter-in-place orders. And so we actually started to get some of Stanford's patients logging into our programming. And I know that because we actually got a couple of phone calls saying, hey, I was prescribed to this program. Can you tell me more about it? Most recently, too, we were getting funding from the Stanford Healthcare Foundation to do programming meant specifically to prevent social isolation. I think AARP did a report just a couple of years ago showing that social isolation can really affect your health almost as much as smoking 10 cigarettes a day, right? And so our hope is really to create community, to help you learn something new. And this is where again, if you visit seniorplanet.org, you can find some sessions that might be relevant to you. It could be anything from how do you use FaceTime? What is that? I might have heard about FaceTime that you can talk to your grandkids on your smartphone, but what is that? How do I do that? Or how do I more effectively use Zoom? I know that I can click on a link, but I want to host my own meeting. I want to host my own session or create a dinner online with friends. How do I create my own Zoom session? And we walk through steps on how to do that.
That's amazing. A couple of questions that come to mind is, how do you select the programs and what's been most popular?
Great question. Oh, that's a good one. I don't know if I've been asked that before.
Hey, Ryan, before you continue, how about if you stop sharing so I can see both of you?
Great.
Thanks
so much, MJ. Thanks. Great question. So most popular session, it varies week to week. I think currently our most popular session tends to be our exercise classes. Again, I mentioned the morning stretch class where I think we have up to 700 people logging in. But in terms of our Explore Tech lectures, especially during the pandemic, What is a Podcast was really, really popular. Streaming in smart televisions was really popular. And how to use YouTube, which I think makes sense because a lot of people were finding a lot more time on their hands at home, and they're interested to find resources, information to keep themselves busy during the day. Locally, I'll say that our Mandarin programming is very popular. Those are Thursday morning. Every Thursday morning, although we're on break, about to start up next week, where actually we'll be doing a session on protecting your personal information online in Mandarin. Those tend to be very popular every week as well, where we're sometimes getting up to 144 participants, although on average about 100 participants. One thing to note about our Mandarin programming too is that if you log in, the session will be an Explore Tech lecture on a topic. And then we ask that people think through the topic, explore the topic. And then we'll log in again the following week for a question and answer session where we dive in deeper on any specific topic. So for example, last quarter, we did a session on YouTube. And then we asked our participants to create a YouTube playlist or to search for different topics on YouTube that might be of interest. And then we asked them to come back to ask any questions, especially after they explored with YouTube.
For the programs that you offer through Senior Planet, do you have to register in advance, or can you just log in at the last minute? How does it work?
Great question. So it really depends on our website. One thing that we've been really focused on is making sure our programming is accessible as possible. And so that's why we do use Zoom, because we recognize that you can just click on the Zoom link and be entered immediately into our session. On that note, we have sometimes been Zoom bombed, so we do have protocols in place to try to keep our sessions as safe as possible. But in an effort to make our sessions as accessible, we just do provide that link on our website. And that's really meant to be as easy for our participants as possible just to log in. When you visit our website, depending on the session, there might be some specific instructions. So for example, for our Mandarin sessions, we do ask that you register. For our workshops that I mentioned might be a little bit more interactive and hands-on. We want to make sure we can provide that support. So we usually cap those at about 20 participants so that we can make sure our technology trainer or our instructor is able to provide the support you need in that session. But for the most part, registration isn't quite required, at least for now. We might be changing that in the future, but we've been really hoping to try to keep our programming as easy to log into as possible.
That's great. You've shared some incredible examples of how Senior Planet has really impacted the lives of so many people. But can you give us a local California story, if you will?
Sure. Let me think through there. I mean, there's so many. We actually will ask for a lot of testimonials. And I think one of those powerful is during the pandemic when older adults were really feeling disconnected. Our discussion group became a beacon of light and hope for our participants. We actually every week would get feedback to say, please don't end these sessions. They are critical. They're the only space I have to connect with other older adults and to think critically. And so just wanting to mention that we're really proud of having created that program specifically out of the Bay Area, because one of our trainers, Jeannie, who's actually been with Senior Planet from the start, at least in California, she was offering a lot of sessions, Explore Tech lectures on what is Facebook, how to use Facebook. And a lot of our participants who are very smart and savvy started to ask ethical questions on, well, is the model of social media ethical? Is what Facebook is doing locally in our local community ethical? And that's where she came to me to say, hey, Ryan, we're getting a lot of questions that aren't necessarily about how to use Facebook, but are much more about technology in general. And people are really hungry for this information. So based off that idea, she and I created the idea of this discussion group where we can talk through the ethics, we can talk through technology in a different way that allows our participants to be more informed, especially as they're hearing about headlines in the news about what's going on.
That's super helpful. And what a great space that you created for those type of discussions. Do you have any upcoming events or things that you'd like to share about Senior Planet coming up?
Yeah, thanks so much for asking. I'm actually really excited. It doesn't look like we posted the sessions just yet, but I wanted to make an announcement for Discover Live, which is a partnership that we've been doing over the last 2 quarters. We run on our programming over quarters, so 4 quarters over the year. And it's really exciting that what it is it's allowing you to travel all around the world from the comfort of your home. So last quarter, we actually went to the Great Wall of China, where they have a Discover Live is its own organization where they have people all around the world that will do a live stream and tour of different cities around the world. And so we did a live tour of the Great Wall of China. I think recently we did a tour of, I think it might have been Barcelona or Madrid in Spain, but it just allows you to see a really cool city from the comfort of your home. So that information will eventually be posted on seniorplanet.org. We have, I think, some exciting sessions coming up, but just wanted to mention that if you're interested in exploring the world, but don't necessarily have the time or the dollars to fly across, and do a 12-hour airplane ride, that you can log into these really cool sessions.
I love
On that note, I did want
Oh,
to
Ryan,
sorry.
actually, we do have one question
Yeah.
from Ermi asking if you also work or connect with local libraries.
Yeah. And I'm just really quickly wanted to mention that for any updates about our programming, you can go to seniorplanet.org and subscribe to our newsletter. That allows you to get a weekly email that walks through all the upcoming program sessions that are both that are in online. And of course, I'm thinking everyone here is from California, but if you happen to be in Colorado or you happen to be in New York, we also have regional e-newsletters that walk through in-person programming. But I recommend that if you go to our website, you can click on the virtual newsletter where you'll get program updates weekly from us. And that's where we'll also post the upcoming sessions for Discover Live. MJ, great question. Ermi, thank you so much for the question about, do we work and connect with local libraries? Absolutely. And in fact, some of our licensing sites and partners are local libraries. Especially during the pandemic, we received quite a few inquiries, especially from libraries in the Bay Area, asking if they could partner with us. And again, because we are providing our support for free, what I was able to do is actually mention to them if they want to send out our e-newsletters or connect to our e-newsletters, their library participants then can get access to our virtual programming for free. Some libraries have even gone ahead and reserved rooms or spaces within their computer labs where then they can have people log into our virtual sessions too. And so if you happen to know a library that is looking for digital literacy programming, please feel free to let them know about Senior Planet, and I'd be more happy to talk to them about what we can offer and provide support. But excellent question that we do work with local libraries. And it looks like I might actually have gotten a direct message, and Ermi, I see a message from you. Thank you, MJ. That is our website, seniorplanet.org. But I received a message from Susan. Am I going crazy? I'm going crazy with new Windows 11. Do I contact Google or you guys? So there are a couple options. I think this is a perfect question for our hotline where you can talk to one of our staff members, where if they're not able to at least provide an immediate fix for Windows 11, they might be able to connect you with resources that would be able to help you. On that note too, after talking to our hotline or in talking to our hotline, if you are interested in setting up a tech talk with Verizon staff, you do not need to have a Verizon product or a Verizon plan to meet with them. They can also provide assistance on Windows 11 or any topic related to technology. So again, please, our hotline, thank you, Sophie, for putting that hotline. Again, it is a toll-free telephone number, so you will not be charged to call that line. And again, it is operational Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. in the morning to 5 p.m. in the evening. Hopefully, no one's calling at 6 a.m. unless you're an early riser, but I definitely know I'm not awake at that time.
Thank you so much, Ryan. This has been such an informative program. Just to let folks know, we will be posting this recording of today's program on our AARP California YouTube channel. So if you want to re-review it or share it with friends, it will be there in a couple of days. The Senior Planet website is in the chat, as is the phone number should you want to access their programming or their services. Ryan, thank you so much for being with us today. So helpful. Always good to see you. MJ, thank you for monitoring the chat and being on the backside of our tech today. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope the program was helpful to you and that you will take some time to explore the wonderful services of Senior Planet. This concludes today's program. Did you want to say something?
And sorry, Sophie, I just got a couple direct messages. And so sorry to interrupt, but just wanted to mention to Russ, you have two questions in the chat that were just to me. One is to ask, are those timeframes for our programming Pacific time? They are, again, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. I should also mention that when you log into our website, we try to create a smart website, which is way smarter than me, but it means that it can identify where you're logging in from based on your IP address. And that's a lot of tech terms just to say that if you're in the Pacific time zone, our website is programmed to shift all of our programming to that time zone. So hopefully when you log in, you'll be able to see that'll say Pacific time. But it also means that if you're in New York, our website should shift over to the Eastern time zone. So just wanted to mention that. And one final thing, Russ, we actually do offer weekly sessions on how to use Zoom. And so I would encourage you to go to seniorplanet.org where they will actually walk through how to use Zoom, how to change your name, how to change your picture online. So just wanted to mention that. Sorry to interrupt, Sophie. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thanks again, Ryan. Thanks so much, MJ. This concludes today's program.